This is a review of set 6086 Black Knight's Castle from the Castle line. It is part of the Black Knight sub-theme and was released in the year 1992 and originally retailed for $85. According to the box, it is 569 pieces, and many AFOLs and other LEGO collectors consider this to be one of the greatest LEGO castles of all time. And personally, I can see why, so I'm very excited that I get to review this for you all today. Unfortunately, the alternate builds are not on the back of the instructions, but we do have a couple more things to go through before we get to building. The original owner actually kept the poster that came with the set, so I'm going to have to lay it down flat so that we can actually take a look at all of it. But here's the image up top, and I just think that this is so cool. You get to see the Dragon Knights and the Wolf Pack and the Black Knights all battling it out together. Up at the top here we have the Dragon Knight's fire-breathing fortress, Magisto's workshop, one of the Dragon Knight's carriages, and then over here the Black Knight's castle, which we're reviewing right now, and then the Wolfpack Tower. And so at the bottom here it has some little advertisement blurbs for each of those sets. There it is, the Dragon Wagon. I couldn't remember the name. Of course. Then here we have, Dragon Masters. Sometimes they call it Dragon Knights, sometimes they call it Dragon Masters. I think there's a regional difference. I tend to call them Dragon Knights, but I guess I should be calling them Dragon Masters. Oh well. Black Knights, and then there is Wolfpack, and we have reviewed the Wolfpack Renegades. I don't have the Wolfpack Tower, unfortunately. Hope to have that someday. And then on the back we've got even more goodies. So we've got space over in this corner. Here we have some Space Police, some landing pads, minifigures, and then Blacktron here. I really like that Alpha Centauri outpost. That is a strange but cool looking build. For some reason I just like those neon yellow colors mixed with the black. Then up at the top here we have Ice Planet, another very cool classic space theme. I also want that the Ice Station Odyssey, yeah, the raised base plate one. I did used to have the Deep Freeze Defender. Unfortunately, I sold that before I reviewed it. If I can find a good deal on some of the Ice Planet stuff, I would love to get it to review. But really, I'm just a huge fan of anything with a raised base plate, as I'm sure you could tell by now. Oh man, and then we have some of the greatest sets ever, the early to mid-90s Pirates stuff. So we've got the Rock Island Refuge, another one that I want. No surprise, it has a raised base plate. Then we've got the Skull's Eye Schooner. Some people consider that better than the Black Seas Barracuda. Personally, I find the Barracuda a little more iconic, so I like that one more, but it is a fantastic ship there. And then one of the greatest LEGO sets of all time, the Imperial Trading Post. Up in the top here, we have some town stuff. There is the Rocky River Retreat, and that is the base plate that I used for my Forestman mock. We've got the Pier Police there, which I actually do want to get because it looks like it pairs well with the Hurricane Harbor. And then there's the Surf Shack, which I also have and will review someday. Then we have Moortown here with the airport shuttle. The monorail stuff is always cool. Wish I could afford some of that, maybe when I'm older. Some more various stuff down here. And that's pretty much it. So a really cool poster. I was very excited to see that included with the lot. But we are still not done because we've got this awesome 1992 mini catalog. And I love this image on the front. You've got Pirates, Space Police, Town, and Castle all meeting at one point, and that's pretty cool. So on the inside here, we've got Jack the Lego Maniac before he was renamed as Zack. And then we've got some Castle over here. We've got the Crusaders advertised, the Forestmen, the Wolfpack, and the Black Knights. So over on the right here, we have the Dungeon Master's Castle. Interesting. They really just changed the name of a lot of these sets depending on where it's being advertised. Pretty odd. There we have the Black Monarch's Ghost, which is another one I reviewed. I would love to get the Sea Serpent. Not too huge of a fan of the Knight Stronghold, but honestly I would review anything Castle. And here we've got a fantastic display. I'll just give you a shot of this real quick, and it pans all the way across. So cool. I love when LEGO used to do stuff like this. So we've got the Forestman's Crossing, the Forestman's River Fortress. I reviewed both of those. Then we've got the Wolfpack Renegades, reviewed that. King's Mountain Fortress, also reviewed that. Again, I would love to get the Wolfpack Tower to review. And then here we've got some pirates. There's the legendary Black Seas Barracuda. I do have that, and I will review it at some point. Not sure when. Bunch of other cool pirate sets. Here's a cool display with the Black Seas Barracuda in the foreground, and then the Imperial Trading Post in the background. Always looks fantastic. And there it is right there. And Broadside's Brig and Saber Island are other ones that I have that I need to review. I also like the Lagoon Lockup. I would like to get that someday. But what wouldn't I like to get, honestly? Here we have Space with Blacktron, Mtron, and Space Police. And here are some of the sets for that line. And some of these are really cool. I love the multi-core magnetizer. A lot of the early Space Police stuff like the Solar Snooper and the Galactic Mediator also look really cool. They just had some pretty wild spaceship designs, and I think they're really nice. Here we have Blacktron. Not too much to say about that, other than I like the Alpha Centauri outpost. Here's a little display here. I like that. And we've got a little value pack. I would love to get this too, mainly just for this Black Knights Ghost set. But the Pirate and Space sets are cool as well. Here we have Town, Nautica, which is the seaport stuff. And there's a town display there. Love that. And then some Octan stuff and some General Town stuff. Here we have the monorail, the jetport, space shuttle, and the rescue stuff. Another layout here, always looking great. Then we have some boats over on the left here, and then a trains display. And some of the trains, I was never really big into trains and never really had any as a kid. So then we have Model Team. Some of these look pretty good for the time, and honestly kind of still hold up today. That was kind of like their early version of Expert Creator stuff. Then we've also got Technic models, more Technic stuff. There's a pretty big helicopter there. And then lastly, we've got these small little service packs. And I love seeing the old prices on these things. $3.25 for that little Mtron set. Some Paradisa stuff in the corner even. I love that. And then on the back here, we've got an assortment of base plates and minifigures. Man, $6.50 for each of these. I would love to get all of them. Wish you could still order them for that price, though. Alright, so that is all the extra material that came with this set. Really cool to see. And now we can go ahead and get to building the set. So here's the completed set, and right off the bat, I think this is one of the best minifigure selections for any castle. The only two that I think even come close is the original Yellow Castle and maybe the 6090 Royal Castle. Either way, let's go ahead and look at our minifigures. And this set has an amazing 4 horseback knights, and they are all great knights. This one right here is probably my favorite. I absolutely love this black and blue horse barding. Very detailed, very cool with the dragon printing all over it. Just looks fantastic, especially combined with the extravagance of the knight on top of it. And here's the knight on top. He has, of course, one of the Black Knight's shields, the large ones. And he does have a standard here with the white flag on top to match the color of his ornamentation. Although, of course, he has his short sword attached to his horse here. And this guy is incredibly coveted and expensive, and that is almost entirely because of these white dragon ornaments on his helmet here. Unfortunately, he has a generic smiley face print, although thankfully most of the other figures in the set do not. A couple of them do, I can see over there, but this guy right here just has the generic smiley face, but we'll give him a pass since his helmet is so cool. And then, of course, he has the pretty standard at this point silver chest plate printing, which is always cool. And that is obviously underneath his dark gray chest plate piece here. And then, not to be outdone, we have an equally extravagant Black Knight here. He has the same horse barding design, except this time it is in blue and red. And I, again, think that that looks fantastic. This is just a great piece all around. And this guy is equally as decorated as the White Knight. So I think it was very cool of them to include 2 knights of this level of detail. Now again, this guy's carrying a red and blue flag, although of course he has his short sword here. And he has the same printing underneath on a black torso. I don't think I need to show you that at this point. We've seen so many of them. And he has, of course, the Black Knight's shield. And then he's got those same dragon ornaments, this time in yellow. I think those also look good, but I prefer the white ones. And thankfully, this guy does not have just the generic smiley face, and I actually really like his face print there. A very friendly bearded knight. So another excellent figure, all in all. Now, they tone it down for these next 2 knights, but I think that's perfectly okay since those other 2 were amazing, and the fact that it includes 4 knights on horseback at all is amazing in itself. So this right here is the red knight, and he has the red dragon ornament on top. He doesn't have a space for the wings on the side, and that is okay. Like I said, he's a little bit toned down compared to the others. He has another flag that this time is red, and he's also got a brown horse, which is cool, so we got all 3 horse colors that were available at the time. He has also got a short sword, and he's got the Black Knight's shield, and then that same printing on the chest plate, and a generic smiley face. Our last horseback knight here is the Blue Knight. He's got the blue dragon ornament. Again, he's got the same helmet as the other guy, so no room for the wings on either side. He's got a blue flag that he's carrying into battle, same shield that we saw before, and he's got that same print on a red torso. So we'll start with these archers here because I believe they are the only 2 other figures that are actually the same in this set. As you can see, they've got that chainmail printing that has also become pretty standard at this point. They've got those cool helmets in dark gray, generic smiley face, bow and arrow, and quiver. Pretty standard knights all around, but great that they include 2. Then we have another pretty standard archer guy. He does have a different helmet mold, although it's the same color, and then his legs are red instead of blue. But apart from that, he is same as the other 2 archers that we just saw. But again, it's nice that they're giving us more knights and more variety whenever possible. Lastly, we have this knight here that is kind of bridging the gap between the knights that we're about to see and the archers that we just saw. So he's got the same helmet as the last guy, he's got the same torso printing, although he does have black arms this time. And then he does have that different face print. And I really do like this face print as well, so I'm glad that they gave us something other than just the generic smiley faces. Now for our last 2 knights here, they are very similar but not quite identical. This guy has got the same helmet mold as the last, but this time in black. And then his legs are color swapped, so his hips are red and his legs are black, where it was the opposite for the other guys. But apart from that, he does have this small Black Knight's shield, which looks great, and then a crossbow instead of a bow and arrow. And this guy, like I said, is almost identical as the last one we just saw, except this time he has a black plastic cape, and then instead of a crossbow, he's got a brown spear. And he is actually the only non-horseback knight that doesn't have a ranged weapon, so that's pretty cool. And then one of our last minifigures here is another Wolfpack Renegade. Looks like they took him captive just like we saw the Dragon Knights do in the Fire-Breathing Fortress. Except this time this guy's got the red plastic cape, so that's cool since the other set didn't have that. Pretty generic face printing there, but at least it's not a smiley face. And as always, that Wolfpack logo is looking great. And then lastly here, of course, they rounded it out with the nice glow-in-the-dark ghost minifigure. I really love this figure, so I'm always happy when a set contains one. And I think it should be obvious already why this is a lot of collectors' favorite castle. Just such fun minifigures, and so many, and we haven't even got to the actual build yet. And I should mention before we move on to that if you want to see this ghost actually glowing in the dark, you can watch my Black Monarch's ghost review since I show it in that one. Okay, so here's the castle, and I took the minifigures off of it so that we can focus entirely on the build. And as you can see, it just looks very fantastic, especially from this angle here. So going around real quick, we've got the giant gatehouse over on the left side here. And then we've got two nearly identical towers on opposite ends. Then we've got this tiny little thatched house with these fantastic walls over on the back end, and that also has a back entrance that can be folded up. So let's move in a little bit closer and take a look at each detail. So first up we have this drawbridge that is controlled by this winch here. You just wind that up. And it's pretty easy to do compared to some of the other castles. And for the drawbridge here, we've got this string attached to this modified plate, so you can just pull that all the way up. Now looking at the very top of the gatehouse, you can see there's a nice red roof there. We've got two weapons attached to it, and then this very cool Black Knight's flag. And there's also plenty of space to pose your minifigures up here, so you can have your archers up here ready to fire down. And they definitely spared no expense at the detailing on the front face of this. So you've got two of these small Black Knight's shields embedded on either side, and then a large one in the center. And then you've also got two of these ornate dragon pieces that are normally on top of the minifigures, but they just put them on either side of the shield here with clips. And then even two of these printed castle wall pieces. So that just looks very good in my opinion, combined with the nice angles that you get from all the arches and these inverted slopes that go up like this, and we even see that on this side here. So you can definitely tell a lot of thought went into the presentation of this, especially from the front. Now looking at this tower here, we've got a little window at the bottom, and then one of these wall corner pieces that is also printed. You've got two of these parapet pieces to round out the top here, as well as the Black Knight colored flags. And then looking at the back here, this section right here has probably got to be my favorite part of the actual castle. You get two of these yellow thatched wall printed pieces, and we saw one of them in the Black Falcon's castle. And I adored it there, and I honestly think it's better here. You get the nice sloped red roof, as well as these gray bricks going up the side to pull it together. As I mentioned before, you've got this back ramp that actually turns into stairs and goes all the way into the castle. And then you've got this magnificent, very large Black Knight's printed flag. I'm honestly surprised that's not up at the top of the main gatehouse, but maybe it would look a little bit awkward being that high up. I think it looks great here though. So here's the interior here. And I actually like that they leave these back two walls over here a little bit lower than the rest, so you can actually get inside and play with it a little bit better. So here's the inside of the gatehouse. You've just got two torches on either end, and there's even a small platform on the inside to pose your minifigures. And then after the drawbridge, you've got this flat plate that leads onto the ramp for the base plate that goes all the way up to the inside. And before I forget, this is what this right side looks like. So you've got this wall that comes out over here, and then it continues down here. And you've even got some nice arches. And then you've got window arches going all the way up the side of the gatehouse as well, which looks good. Now in the interior here, we have a ladder leading you up to this balcony that goes all along there. And at the end of the balcony there, underneath this red roof, you've got a treasure chest. And as usual, inside we have a yellow goblet and two yellow studs for their gold. And in the back here, we've got this cute 3x3 black table and another gold goblet on top. We've also got this barrel that has our suspected gold coins inside. And they tell you to put it there, but I usually just put it over here so it's out of the way of the back entrance. Then we've got this nice bit of detailing here as a well. And then over here we have a trapdoor that can just swing up. And this is where they tell you to put your Wolfpack guy, so he's just hanging out in the cellar. Now over on this corner tower here, it's actually open on this side, so you can fit a minifigure in there if maybe they need to hide or something. And moving around to the other side, we can see the opposite tower. And something I wanted to point out is how many weapons they have hanging around. So you've got a spear there, Down there in the corner, you've got a short sword, another spear, and an axe. And then even over here, you've got another axe. So plenty of weapons lying around if they need more. And then you've got essentially the same tower build, except we have a little door on this one. And you can swing that open. And it looks pretty dark inside, because that is where you're supposed to hide the ghost. And unfortunately, he doesn't have anywhere to stand, just like we saw in the Black Monarch's ghost. But at least you can close the door and keep him in there. Now, one of my only complaints with this set is that they don't really give you much space up at the top here for the power pits. So you have to pose your minifigures right along the edge, and they look a little bit awkward pushed right up against the wall there. And especially for this one where you can look down and see inside. From some angles you can even see the ghost. And it just looks weird having that gaping hole in the center there. It's probably even worse on this side because you can see right down into the castle. So my very quick fix for that is these 4x4 light gray plates, as well as 2x2 black bricks on the bottom. And you can just very easily line that up and make sure it's pushed down tight. Then you've got plenty of room to comfortably place your minifigures and they don't look awkwardly bunched up against the wall. And you also fill in that gap so that you can't see through to the other side of the castle. So if you have this set, I would definitely recommend doing that. It's like a 20-cent fix. And in my opinion solves the only problem I have with this castle. So adjusted for inflation, this set would have retailed for $160.20. However, according to Bricklink right now, current use prices are $288.51. And honestly, that's just according to Bricklink. I have seen this sell for crazy amounts on eBay. For some reason, people pay a lot more for it there. I've seen it go for upwards of $400, sometimes even like $450. So it's definitely one of the most desired classic castles, and I'm sure you can see now why. Especially to get it in fully complete condition like this. Those Black Knights flags, as well as the shields and things like those dragon ornaments on the knights on horseback are very expensive pieces, and a lot of the times the castles will be missing them, so to find them in good unbroken condition will run you a lot more. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed looking at this fantastic castle. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching.